So we're going to have a look at butterfly pose. Now, butterfly pose can be used for a few different sequences. So you can use it to get into the inner thigh. So the inner thigh would be our liver pathway. So that's getting into your adductors as we abduct the knee, so taking it out to the side, like so. So we could get this sensation through here, and that's going to be more into your liver with the heels closer towards you. Now, as you come forward, you're going to get the secondary benefit of going through the back line of the spine. If you feel it more into the outer hip, that's going to be more gallbladder. Straight through the center of the spine, that's going to be getting more into the bladder pathway. And that's your rectus spinae out to the side, thoracolumbar fascia through the center, thoracolumbar fascia through the side as well. Now, if you take the feet a little bit further away from you, that's going to more isolate this more into that outer hip feeling. So that's more going to be into gallbladder, and then that's going to wrap up through your thoracolumbar fascia. A little bit still through the bladder, absolutely, especially as you come forward as well in this position. Now, another variation you could do if you want to try and bring this more into the large intestine. So large intestine is a tricky channel because there's not many options for it. So in this way, we're more trying to get the extension of the arm to start to feel this nice long lengthening through the large intestine pathway, taking a little pistol as you come forward into it as well and folding forward. Now, when we do come forward into this position, whether your feet are close to you or further away, then you want to try and have a bolster in front of you to find flexion of the spine. Now, I'll discuss in one of the other videos more about exactly why we find flexion of the spine. But with a bolster, you're going to have it a little bit more doubled over, like so. So you're sort of hugging it. I like to tuck it in sort of close to those feet or on top of the feet, like so. And then you hug it in, and then you roll and come forward. So you feel this full lengthening of the back line of the spine, as opposed to keeping the back flat. And back flat just means you're going to end up with a flat back, which is not what we're looking for. We're trying to find a nice long mobile back. So flexion of the spine as much as you're finding extension in different positions. We're just going the opposite way, flexion. Now, again, you can have the feet further away from you, like so, coming forward, dropping the head down, like so, and you might start to get a big strong sensation at the back of the heart there, which is also really good. And again, large intestine, if you want to get into that, taking that little pistol, shooting the hand forward. And although you're getting much more primarily going on everywhere else, you can start to notice a little secondary sensation of just opening out through that pathway. Now, compression points that you might notice in this position is on the outer hip. So this is when the femur bone is going to be externally rotating, and then you're going to have your greater trochanter. It's going to be pushing into the lip of the acetabulum, which is this little part, the side of the hip, that the femur bone and the head of the femur presses into at the side, and then the greater trochanter, which is this big bony protrusion that sticks up the side of the femur bone. As you externally rotate, the side of that is most likely going to be pressing into the little cup of the hip called the acetabulum. It means acid cup. So that's a compression point. So you could get blocks or block underneath the knee just for a little bit of support to make this better. If you are feeling that bone on bone, skeletal compression, you can't make that better. You could experiment with bringing those heels forward and back more than anything. Now, you might be getting a little compression point in the front of the hip, so a lot of sensation right into this, up into the groin, and that's merely just going to be, again, the femur bone on the inside, less a trochanter, more pushing into that hip. So that's the ilium part of the pelvis. So you're going to get bone on bone compression there. Not much you can do about that. You can again experiment with maybe taking the knees wider. If bringing the knees wider is helpful, you place a block between the feet, and that's going to open the knee out more to the side. You still got the same shape, but it's just allowing that little adjustment of taking the knees further out to the side, and that's going to maybe create that little bit of extra space so you can actually come forward in that position. So far as compression points, that's kind of all you're really working with. This is good to get into the buttocks, so gallbladder, going to get into your glutes, glute max a little bit, glute med a little bit as well. You're going to be getting into the thoracolumbar fascia coming up through the side. Your rectus spinae going up the back is a secondary focus, so bladder is a secondary focus. As you're opening the knees out to the side, you're going to get that inner thigh, which is going to be your adductors, adductor magnus, etc. And then with your arms out in front of you, you're just maybe going to get a little bit of sensation through here as a secondary as well. And that's going to be getting into our large intestine pathway. And that's your butterfly pose.